Good Thursday morning, Trinidad and Tobago, running into your brand new day today, Thursday. Yes, today, Thursday the 9th of October 2025. Welcome one and all to the latest installment of The Morning Brew. Jason Williams. I'm here with you till 7:30 this morning, from 7:30 till 8. The morning shot, that in-depth look at sport. Ian Wason is back on the hot seat to give you all the latest developments. Lots happening. Hockey, football, cricket, lots of talking points. So by all means, Ian will get in depth later on this morning. But we head to the big story, the front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, and the opposition, the chief whip, calls for the immediate firing of Housing Minister and Member of Parliament David Lee. This is a quite interesting development. Yes, there's been a precedent we have seen in the past, different times within the political space, people being charged, and, well, again, you know, there's been different, I would say, outcomes. There were those who held on, there were those who had to abdicate their particular position in office, go to the back bench. But in this particular case, the Prime Minister, she's backing her minister, and, well, of course, the opposition calling for his removal. And let's be real, let's be honest this morning. If it was the other way around, it would be the same call. If this was, you know, reversed, we have seen it, as I said, in the past. It's nothing new. However, what's interesting about the development, the constituents that Mr. Lee represents, and we're talking here the Caroni Central residents, they're showing him great support. They're in support of their MP. You know, they have many. Of course, we went yesterday and spoke to lots of the different residents there. I mean, granted, you know, talking to a few people will not generally give you the overall consensus. But again, cross-section of different people in this space, they are very pleased with his performance, and they want the MP to stay right there. And the Prime Minister, she says she's going to back him. Well, based on all developments, I guess this will have to go through, as we always say, a due process. Still in hospital, a matter of fact, Mr. Lee and his co-accused. They were absent from the virtual court hearing, and Mr. Lee, MP Lee, was granted $1 million bail on the fraud charge. So it's one of those circular arguments. Again, there are many who would call for his dismissal. They will ask that he is removed. The Prime Minister says that's not the case. She's going to support him. And I guess this is also a chance to see what style of leadership Kamala 2.0 is going to bring to the table, if indeed she will. As of now, she says she's going to hold the strain and let it take its course. She said he was able to beat this case before. She's hopeful that he's able to do it again. And there are those on the other side of the political divide calling for an immediate dismissal. But what I could safely tell you, our politics, it's a forgiving one, it's a strange one indeed, because if this was in England or any other part of the world where we treat with those mature democracies, it's not even a mention of who should be fired and who should be dismissed. The person themselves in the middle of this entanglement, the embattled MP or minister, whoever it is, especially in places like England, where we look to still as this particular gold standard. And the reason I say this, we still go there to the Privy Council. We still look at England as this, you know, this benchmark. We have seen out there, from the time there's even a whiff that comes your way, people immediately step down. You don't even have to ask. They immediately leave office. The amount of times we have seen prime ministers there having prime ministers, remember? There was a time every other weekend, you know, well, you know, being a bit, you know, extreme. It wasn't obviously every other weekend, but there was a time. They were changing them over time and time again, and that's just how it is, you know, and I guess our political style here in the Caribbean a bit different. But again, I'll be on the sidelines looking on. Let's see how things pan out. This is, again, a chance to see the Prime Minister's ethos, if indeed it's a different style into this second tenure. So far, she says, full support. Well, the opposition doing what they would do in this particular scenario, because if the current administration, well, a matter of fact, when they were in opposition and there were claims and charges against the likes of Marlene MacDonald, deceased, and others, yeah, there were calls for immediate dismissal. So that's just the nature of the politics. You know, it's really according to what side of the divide you stand, you will have your particular perspective, and we have seen the dance time and time again. So I don't get caught up or get too emotional with these developments. It's, I think, a safe bet to just sit back on the sideline and let's see how those who are at the wheel treat with this very sensitive matter. But at the same time, I still believe there should be due process for everyone, whether you're an MP, a minister, or a mason. I think it's important for people to get their day in court, to be heard, so that they could, you know, argue their particular case and let the judicial system make the relative judgment. As we look towards the front page again, recovery efforts, well, tarpaulin, well, I mean, granted, that is the solution at this point in time. You know, you can't put a roof on a structure in a day, so the best bet is to put some tarpaulin on. I recall going to Puerto Rico some years ago. This was after the, I think it was Hurricane Maria. It was a brutal hurricane some years ago. It devastated Dominica, and then I remember it went a bit further north and really hit Puerto Rico a blow. And I went there literally probably gotta be a month or two after, in transit to Miami, and I remember flying over Puerto Rico. And it was a day flight, I had a window seat, and for miles, just flying over land, you were just seeing tarpaulin on all the homes. Blue tarpaulin, green tarpaulin, yellow tarpaulin. It was a real heartbreaking, you know, sight. And obviously, it's the damage caused by the tornado was not as severe as what happened in Puerto Rico some years ago with a hurricane. But tarpaulin, it's a temporary fix. At least there is a cover on the house for those there at Cherry Crescent. But I would imagine the immediate move would be to call a contractor to try to get, you know, a roof back on your head. And let me tell you, a roof, I know $2, huh? The beams, the sheeting. A matter of fact, inside the Guardian this morning, engineers and others are calling for different codes when it comes to building. An engineer, he urges homeowners to strengthen the roofs after the tornado. I mean, look at that. I mean, the force of nature. I go back to what I said this week. You literally put in weeks, not even weeks, months, sometimes years people take to fix up their house, especially a roof. A roof, you know, 2-day project. You know, you'll have workmen, you'll have to bring in the material, man, go up there. So the kind of work that is done takes so long, and literally in seconds, you know. That's not even hyperbole. You saw it for yourself. Seconds. 1, 2, 3. That's 3 seconds gone. That roof just went up like Lego blocks and scattered all over. It's the force of Mother Nature and these weather events and the severity in this particular time. It is truly unprecedented. And again, we send love and you know, best wishes. I know it's going to be a tough road ahead for those impacted, but listen. Clearly, we heard from the MP yesterday, the Borough Council, others are stepping in, businesses stepping in, neighbors are stepping in. Family, I'm sure, will step in to render assistance. And this is, again, tough one, but life goes on, and, you know, no loss of life, no loss of limb, loss of a roof, and we could get that back. Let's move to the back page as we check in on what's happening via the sporting world. Of course, full details later on with Ian. But Sportiti finally gets aboard, and Chairman Lendor leads the team. So I'm seeing all the board members, the board of directors for Sportiti. Of course, the minister there, all smiles, and you'll see all the names here via page 46. So at least the ball is rolling, no pun intended. With the new Sportiti board, they got their letters of appointment yesterday. Some action from the Under-20 FIFA World Cup. Yes, this is South Africa against Colombia. Colombia won this 3-1. So they march on to the semifinals. And more so, on the local front, we get all and sundry ready for tomorrow. 6 p.m., make sure you're in front of your television at home, your favorite watering hole, wherever you go to take in your games, put on your red, white, and black. Well, I have the black official kit. I didn't get the red just yet. As a matter of fact, I think I'll come out in my TTFA, my senior men's squad T-shirt tomorrow to really just drive it home how important the next couple of days are. To me, these are the most important days in the last probably 19 years in our in our football history. For those who love football, for those who really get fired up, we need to lend our voice, send that good energy, keep these players and the coach in prayer. It's a must-win tomorrow. And I'll be honest, I'll be frank this morning. Let me be frank this morning, because I always keep it real. I speak from the heart and I speak to the nation as open and as honest as possible. Full transparency here. I put it on record that if we can't beat Bermuda tomorrow, we don't deserve to be in the World Cup. No disrespect to Bermuda. Beautiful island. I love Bermuda. As a matter of fact, I've been there twice and I could live there. I mean, it's a fantastic space. But when it comes to football, they are no powerhouse. I mean, let's be honest. Yes, they're on the up and up, they're on the rise. But, you give your opponent full respect. Who is who wants it on the day. I recall some years ago, Bahamas beat us and knock us out of a qualifier. So you can't take anybody for granted. So many different things could happen on a football pitch. Man could get sent off, there could be a red card. There are so many different moving parts. But I'm just suggesting here that Bermuda, going into that game, yes, we are away from home. They will have their partisan crowd. But I think we have enough talent, we have enough legacy and the wherewithal to get past Bermuda tomorrow. And after we get past, hopefully, I can say hopefully, let's say after we get past, let's speak positive. We rally up and get ready for Curacao, who are home. So as I said, next two games, very critical. Let's move to the brief on this Thursday morning. And I'm looking at some action here. Yes, I'm looking at some action with the members of the Spirit Academy doing a performance during an opening ceremony for the National Secondary Schools Entrepreneurship Competition at Napa. This was held on Tuesday. So well done to the youngsters. And the TTBWA calls for national action to prevent blindness. Up next, your business guardian breakdown. And when it comes to budget, there's always the discussion on gas, on oil. So Anthony Wilson will give us the details. Definitely it's a budget-oriented, a budget-centric business guardian as we rally up and get ready for Monday's presentation. And we will be giving extensive coverage all Monday right here on CNC3. Anthony Wilson with the business guardian breakdown next. See you.
Richmond Park for the home that is uniquely you. Choose your own contemporary design, including 2-story homes that suits your lifestyle. Enjoy family walks in our pet-friendly spacious community with scenic views of the Northern Range. Choose your own parcel of land and create your own dream home, including fixtures, fittings, and aesthetics that define who you are. Richmond Park, where home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. Madras Road, Canopia, Airport, and shopping centers nearby. Call 355-7703.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung, and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services. We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance. But we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza in Deba Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
Period nights don't have to look like this. Move less, wake up to change. So change for a real night's sleep with Always Overnight. Its 3 times protection system absorbs, locks the fluid, and keeps it away from your skin. For protected nights without leaks. Always.
It's Jenny's exclusive Big Diwali sale. Get 25% off everything store-wide. Over 2 weeks of the lowest prices ever. Jenny's exclusive Big Diwali sale. 25% off. JD's, Princestown, San Fernando, Rio Claro, Gasparilla Mall, and M6 Plaza Chaguanas. Your low-price headquarters, JD's.
Join Pastor Gino Jennings for our second Trinidad and Tobago Holy Convocation at the Centerpoint Mall, Centrum Auditorium, 325 Ramsaran Street, Chaguanas, Trinidad. Services are Saturday, October 11th at 6 p.m. and Sunday, October 12th at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Again, Centerpoint Mall, 325 Ramsaran Street, Chaguanas, Trinidad. Saturday, October 11th at 6 p.m. and Sunday, October 12th at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. For information, call 267-989-9189.
Consultant business editor Anthony Wilson joins me for the Business Guardian Breakdown. Anthony, it's always a pleasure to see you. This is the pre-budget installment of the Business Guardian, and there is so much to unpack this morning. I want to start with, of course, morning to you. I want to start with the cover story, lower fuel prices. That's always been the clarion call every budget. We know that when fuel prices go up, everything goes up. Everything from what we get in the ocean to what we could get on land and what we experience in the air. I mean, we're talking everything. What's the general feeling? What's the takeaway from this story?
The takeaway from this story is that one of the two gas station dealers associations is calling for the government to adjust downwards the price of premium and super. So I think there is a good basis for that call, because based on where oil prices are, and oil prices have subsided quite considerably in the last 12 months. Based on where oil prices are, there is the likelihood, the very strong likelihood that the price of premium and super gasoline can be reduced at the pump. The question is, in the previous administration, the government had spoken about the liberalization of the fuel market.
Meaning every gas station could have called their own price? Yes, within a band. I think for this government to lower the price of fuel in the budget, that would need to be accompanied by the liberalization of the fuel market. Understood. Just quick, before we head to the next story, compared to our Caribbean neighbors, do we still enjoy a rather cheap gas price currently, compared to, let's say, Barbados, Jamaica, Grenada, St. Vincent, Antigua and Barbuda?
Yes, we do. I don't have the numbers at hand, but
just based on general knowledge, we generally do enjoy a better price.
Yes, because I think Barbados in particular, they tax gasoline, and some of the other countries in the region may tax gasoline as well. We here do not tax gasoline. In fact, what we do is we subsidize gasoline and diesel. So I was saying earlier that the price of the gasolines can come down, but diesel is different. Apparently, diesel still requires a subsidy for the price to remain at, I believe it's $4.41 per liter. Yeah.
Understood. Well, let's crunch some more figures here. I'm looking at Peter Christopher's story, and he went through some of the numbers here, and basically he put forward the question, what salary gets $1 million home? And we're looking at homes from 1.3 to 1.5 to 1.7 to 2 million. Walk us through the numbers, Anthony.
Yeah, so that really is quite an interesting piece. And for any young professional who is looking to purchase a home, should really have a look at that piece by Peter Christopher. What I found interesting in particular about the piece is that the Republic Bank people we spoke with quoted a 99% mortgage. In other words, the country's largest commercial bank is prepared to lend a 30-year mortgage with 1% down, which means that if you're getting a $1.2 million mortgage, 1% of 1.2 million is, I think it's $12,000.
Yeah, 12,000. Yeah.
So that is the extent to which commercial banks are willing to go. Well, at least Republic Bank is willing to go.
Do they cover, like, let's say, stamp duty and closing fees with the lawyers and stuff, or you have to handle that yourself?
No, that has to be handled by the purchaser. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So Peter went through a range of numbers. I think it's something that he really should do some more work on, because I'm interested in finding out, for example, and I'm sure other people will be interested in finding out as well, if you put down 10% rather than 1%, what your qualification to buy a house would be. So again, quite an interesting piece of work. Yeah,
it's on Business Guardian, page 6. I want to take it across to the Dragon gas story. Energy analysts differ on Dragon's future. What's the truth out there, Anthony? I'm hearing so many different reports. I'm seeing vloggers and bloggers suggesting that the OFAC license is a hoax. Nothing really was granted, that the Prime Minister spoke out of turn. Then I'm hearing folks saying that, yes, indeed, it's on. She used her charisma and pizzazz to get it back up and running, and we now have to massage Venezuela and get things back to a place of normalcy. What's the reality? Will the Dragon dance?
I personally would not put money on that, and here's why I wouldn't put money on the Dragon dancing. First of all, I don't think anybody outside of the government knows the exact story about how U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio came to make the announcement that he is willing to support the OFAC license for the Dragon gas field. So that's one. It seems to me that if that discussion was on the table, that the Minister of Energy would have accompanied the Prime Minister to New York and to Washington, but he didn't. So I'm wondering if that is an offer that the U.S. government made through Mr. Marco Rubio. The third point is there is part of the statement made by Mr. Rubio in which he said that Venezuela must not benefit significantly from the development of the Dragon gas field. And that is, to say the least, quite an interesting statement, because one wonders, how does a country allow another country to exploit its natural resources without in a way that we deem appropriate? Dragon needs a lot of work. Let's put it that way. It needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of diplomacy. It needs a lot of negotiation for it to become a reality. It's not something that's just going to drop into our laps. It needs work.
Indeed. Well, Anthony, as always, sincere thanks. Let's see how things pan out for the budget on Monday, and I'm sure next week we will have the post-budget business guardian analysis. So I look forward to you and the team. Anthony, all the best, and thanks so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you, Jason.
You're most welcome. Anthony Wilson, touching base. Let's move now to the Police and You segment. Always a pleasure to have in my company Officer Ali, Corporal Zahir Ali, legal officer under the umbrella of the TTPS. A couple of talking points, major talking points ahead. Stand by.
Chiclesia Limited, the Caribbean's largest manufacturers of plain and printed paper bags, leaders in plastic bags, vermicelli, split piece powder, and greaseproof paper, ideal for doubles, french fries, and sandwiches. Supplying stores nationwide. For quality products, trust Chiclesia Limited, 665-3336. Recession have you down? Don't lose hope. Head on down to Tire Clinic for the recession deals. Big savings with our road hazard warranty on Donald, Tomitomo, and Falcon tires. Available at Tire Clinic, Cuba, Chaguanas, and Pleasant Park. Tire Clinic, a tire for every need. Call 636-8973 or 636-2958.
Dominica, this is the Burning Flame straight out of Antigua, and we're coming to blaze up the stage for the 25th edition of the World Creole Music Festival.
October 24th to 26th.
You ready for the real fire?
The real jam and the real party.
You can't miss this one. See you in Dominica, the nature island of the Caribbean.
Blow, 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 blow.
Whether you're an athlete, a business professional, or simply someone who values their health, Omega XL can empower you to keep doing what you love. Don't let joint discomfort hold you back.
Live long, stay strong with the XL brand.
Muscle Russell.
In Hinduism, cow's milk is revered, and from the finest milk comes our ghee. When offered into the sacred fire, cow ghee carries our prayers to the deities, unlike processed vegetable ghee. From your devotion to your delicious dishes, you can trust Anchor Cow Brand Ghee. For all occasions, use the best ghee. Enjoy the best food and delicacies, and have the best Diwali with Anchor Cow Brand Ghee.
Step into a world of opportunities at CTS College, where education is beyond academics. Winner of over 50 world prizes, as well as ACTT Student Service Award. It's a college of your choice for quality education, guaranteed to unlock your true potential. Internationally recognized degree programs. Choose a degree that is right for you. Come in for your free career guidance session and start your future today with CTS College.
As always, the Police and News segment this and every Thursday. Really happy to see Corporal Zahir Ali, TTPS legal officer. Great to have you back on the set, and I look forward. A couple of talking points this morning, officer, and by all means, we'll get to it immediately. Great to see you as always.
Thank you very much, JW. I'm happy to see the glow and the introduction that you have made this morning. I'm seeing some happiness on your face, and in light of what's happening, it's good to see that. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago. It's a pleasure as always to be here.
Well, the glow is there because I'm seeing the work and I'm seeing the results of the work. Yes, granted, there's a SOE in place, but up to last week I was talking to one of your colleagues, Officer Russell, who was on set, and I myself, I had to actually correct myself because I said, there was a minor drop, and when I looked at the numbers a little bit closer, I said, wow, significant, because last year around this time we would have been somewhere in the 400 number realm with murders.
Yes.
It's 200 and something at this point in time. Still too much, obviously. We would love for that kind of capital offense to be less than even 100, less than 50. We would love for that to happen. But we know it's the reality of the day, illegal firearms, Trinidad being a transshipment kind of location. But nonetheless, there's been a significant drop. But we saw recently an uptick. Is there any cause for concern, as it were, officer?
Well, that's a very piercing question, JW. And just to go back, yes, there's in fact a reduction. we must factor that in relation to 2 declarations of state of emergencies. We must also place in the equation as well a very aggressive response from the law enforcement agencies, TTPS and other agencies, and quite reasonable level of success as well. But definitely, when you see within the last 48 hours an upsurge in murders, any decision maker, any law enforcement decision maker will be definitely concerned. And the concern now should be driving you, pushing you for a deeper response, or to do an analysis to ascertain exactly what may be some of the motives for the upsurge in criminal activities. So to answer your question, definitely a concern, and a concern that will induce immediately some analysis.
Is it also that other categorizations of crime are also on a downward spiral? Because people look at the crime rate and literally the only stat they look at is the murder rate. But we have to consider robbery with intent, cyber crime, sexual offenses. Multiple limbs of consideration when we speak about crime. But people generally just look at the murder rate and say, oh gosh, the place in a mess because of just that stat. What's happening with the other categorizations?
Well, we have seen the other serious crimes. We have seen some reduction in particular categories of crime. But, this crime that they have classified as home invasion seems to continue to be a prevalent crime. And, JW, I want to make a point this morning in relation to why we may have looked at it from a capital offense and other serious crime like, burglary and robberies and so forth. I want us to pay attention under the anti-gang legislation when we are speaking about organized crime, which is really what is organized crime and gang activity, which is really causing a great challenge for law enforcement. You have seen that schedule of offenses is quite a high number of scheduled offenses. So if you really zero in on those scheduled offenses, you will see most times they have been directed to a particular group or particular groups. So yes, as I said before, persons may tend to be looking in the case of murder, but what we should be looking at, not in my view, not look at it in terms of a type of crime, but looking at the persons who are involved in the commission of those crimes. And you will basically immediately recognize there are particular groups that are causing mayhem.
Because more than likely it is organized. Anybody who is going to go after, let's say, someone's home to rob them, we know that there is due diligence. We know that there is reconnaissance. They do the research. And I wonder how much more of a hard target we can make ourselves, because naturally, if they have the intent to jump the wall, they're going to come. And, no amount of burglar proof, no amount of barbed wire, security camera, they seem to have no regard, really, for some of the, I would say, the defense mechanisms we as homeowners will put in place. So what else can we do to become a really hard target?
Well, that question will always lead me to encourage a deeper collaboration between law enforcement and the community. Yes, you spoke about, placing cameras, but the human element involved in crime fighting and exercising due diligence is extremely important. And I just say that in the context of the Mount Hope area, without being prejudiced to that particular area. We have heard, based on the reports, that there are persons who may be coming from surrounding environments and enter in that community, and the conflict may have contributed to some of the murders that we are seeing in that particular area. That basically spells out a very clear statement for us, that if the community are not vigilant in what's happening in their community, in terms of whether persons within their community are attracting persons for whatever reason into their community, or whether there's conflict between 2 or more communities, the communities need to speak out on this. And how do you speak out on this? You must be speaking out with law enforcement very close to you, so that you get the necessary protection. So I think that, yes, cameras are very important, but I think deeper, closer engagement is what required as we speak.
Yeah, and I would imagine to taking it back to a place of community, knowing your neighbor, looking after your neighbor, looking out for your neighbor, because let's be real, sometimes people live in a community and they don't even know who really are wrong, especially within the urban space. It's not like down country where I grew up, everybody know everybody, but there's sometimes on a street, I try to be as cordial with everybody, but there's still people who on my street who will pass and I don't know them, they wave, they pass you straight. It's be such a weird dynamic in every community. Every community will have their own culture and their own vibration. So I would imagine part of it too is to engage in that kind of community activism, and whether it be the air horn, whether it be in our WhatsApp group, just neighbors.
And most certainly, and you know, when you have migration within a domestic context, if you're not paying attention to see persons who maybe or belong to a particular area coming into your area, the due diligence should be asking, well, what's the purpose? Are they visiting a family? Are they looking for a turf? Are they looking to lend strength to a particular area?
But certain areas too, you know, close proximity to Port of Spain, so like the Barrett areas, the Tunapunas, the Gustins, the San Juans, people, a lot of rentals. So sometimes it's a constant rotation. Somebody might move out of apartment, somebody new will come in, and people, especially in the urban space, kind of keep to themselves.
Yes.
You know, the people kind of just hold a little corner. It's only when something happens and it hit the fan,
yes, that
now you want to find out, well, you're trying to communicate as to what happened. So what do you feel we could do to break that ice?
Well, again, it comes back to the same due diligence. For example, let's go into the area that you took me into in terms of persons who are engaging in contract rental. What is expected of those persons is, yes, they may have an interest in revenue. But at the same time, you are bringing someone into a community that if you are not careful, if you're not understanding the purpose, is it really a legitimate need for really renting an apartment, or is it renting an apartment to facilitate some crime? So hence why I'm saying, JW, that a deeper and a closer relationship between law enforcement and the citizenry is extremely important, especially when, let's be fair, the state, they have responded to the state of emergency. They have given us legislative support. You know, the TTPS is led by the Commissioner of Police, definitely making some impact. But when you look at, you know, not albeit those efforts being made from the different stakeholders, then the question begs now, well, okay, what do we do next? And I think that this time we need we speak about community engagement, JW, but I don't think that we are really seeing that, in my respectful view, that real close relationship where you have the oath officers joining with the non-oath persons, which is the citizenry, to really fight this scourge of criminal activities.
Yeah, all hands on deck, fully understood. I want to take it now to youth and crime prevention. What's the particular mandate, what's the ethos under the umbrella of the TTPS as it pertains to the young people? I recognize, obviously, a major change for the beginning of the school year. Up to yesterday, I'm seeing a video, wouldn't call the school, where two boys on the ground scrambling, and a peace officer stepped in, and when I tell you, manhandled them, hold one, hold the next one, and fight done, you know. It reminded me of back in the day when I was in school. Well, teachers didn't even have to go through that. From the time you see a teacher, the fight would have come to an end. So I realized where the respect might have been lost for, let's say, a teacher or a safety officer or MTS security. When a police pull up on a scene now in the school, I realize that the fellows and them straighten up immediately.
Well, definitely the intervention of the police officers in the school, you know, definitely will create some impact. And I use the word some impact. And I say some impact because we must also accept and not be naive that in Trinidad and Tobago over the last couple of months and years, we have been plagued by very serious criminal activities. And some of these children, they're coming from the very communities that are plagued with criminal activities. So, JW, we cannot be naive to, with reference to criminal activities seeping in, or even not criminal activities, the temperament, the propensity for violence is seeping into our education system. And hence why the intervention with the police officers in the first instance, as a matter of suppression and prevention, excellent. But what I would like to see, and I've said it, you know, on many platforms, we need to have a look at our community engagement and partnership as it relates to our nation youths. And I think that, you know, when we speak about children, yes, they're in a stage of development. All the stakeholders, the psychologists, the social workers, they will tell you, okay, children in a state of development, which is true. But at the same time, what sort of intervention are we making to be able to shape the minds to appreciate and understand the level of behavior and conduct that we are accepting? Because they are seeing it in the community, and they may think that it's normal. Where's the effort to reshape the mind from a mental and otherwise?
So you're looking to strike a balance between the hard approach and a soft approach, like you're trying to find a middle ground?
Well, I want to take it like this. When there was an upsurge and we were seeing a lot of activities, criminal activities, acts of violence in the school, the first thing is to get a control. So the intervention of the police. Now that you now have identified particular schools, what should be happening immediately now is the soft approach that you spoke about, stepping in now to bring that equilibrium. We cannot just say, okay, we place police officers in the school, in my respectful view, and we have suppressed and prevent. Have we really changed their mind? Or is it that the mind is looking for an opportunity to go back to what he or she or they may know?
But probably you'll need to find find the talent within the service who could come in and give lectures, because I go back to Officer Shabadi from the St. James Police Youth Club. When I was in school, Shabadi's personality and his oratory skills and his presence was so impactful that he would come and give lectures, and it impacted me in such a way that I went and I joined the Police Youth Club. And many people I recognize in my year group, and this is we're talking about the 90s, men kind of made a 180, because Shabadi was really to the point. So if we could find a couple, if you all could probably find a couple more Shabadis, people who have that kind of personality, who could speak, who could go and speak the language that the young people understand, I think you might be onto something there.
And I think that's an excellent idea, JW, and I like to stretch it a little bit. When we speak about community policing and youth clubs, TTPS seems to, again, be embracing this responsibility. What I'd like to see, there are many different sectors of Trinidad and Tobago, whether it be public or the private sector. And I think that if we are all one community, I think we should be excited to recognize that our nation youths is in urgent need of an intervention. So, for example, corporate Trinidad and Tobago, let's see if we can have a program to say, okay, we're going to demonstrate how you do business. The Defense Force, you coming, you make your intervention. The prison service, the TTPS, your good self, JW. These young children may be looking at you in the morning and say, you know what, when would I have the opportunity to see JW? Could you imagine JW is now on a caravan visiting these schools, and you never know that you may just change one mind. So I'm just saying that, when we speak about community engagement and partnership, sometimes, respectfully, we tend to say, okay, a responsibility on the TTPS. And if TTPS is entrusted with that responsibility, what I expect is that the TTPS leads with all the stakeholders following them into our nation's schools. You do not know which one of the stakeholders will meet the minds.
Great recommendation. As we look to wrap things up, I want to take it now to public trust and public and police image. I've recognized that within recent time, yes, there have been some wins, but there have been some faux pas. And I wonder if indeed there is a particular push to hold those accountable. I recall that situation in Barataria Police Station where drugs in a particular room went missing. I mean, these are stories that, come up yet again. That brings a kind of a dark spot on some of the hard work you all are doing. We know that most officers get up, they go out there, and they try their very best. But the ones who drop the ball, it's done in such a way that many, unfortunately, human nature, they will look at, you do 9 good things, 1 bad, they remember the bad. What's the plan of action to hold those who drop the ball within your particular field accountable, and how soon could we see some, in terms of a turnover where you all make it public, the same way you all do your meetings and you do your pressers? What was the latest with some of these unfortunate developments?
Well, I'm happy that you give me an opportunity and a direction to go. Let's look at why it may be sub judice in relation to the Barataria issue. What you have seen is that the TTPS have responded immediately. And immediately, but timely as well, that the officer or those who may have been alleged to have been involved in that particular crime, that misbehavior in public office, is or are before the courts of Trinidad and Tobago. Okay. So I just want to begin with that in terms of the immediate response. But you are right. If we are speaking about crime and criminality, even now from an internal context, I'll humbly ask the decision makers to have a look at the units that has been established within the TTPS and those are established out of the TTPS with reference to police corruption and police misbehavior. Like in anything else, we need to raise that bar as well, so that we're not only looking at the blue and white collar activities per se, but we are looking at the persons who are entrusted to uphold and enforce the law. They are also very strong units with capable minds to be able to respond to deal with crime and criminality from a public official. And may I say, JW, not only looking at from a TTPS context, it's important for us to look at it in relation to the public sector, and I'll tell you why. You may have, maybe looking at the police, but there are public officials in other places based on the intelligence that are also facilitating criminal activities. So when you have units like, for example, I'm just saying the Professional Standards Bureau, the Police Complaints Authority, what I'd like to see those units really develop legislative and otherwise to look at the public sector. These are the persons who are supposed to have the best interests of Trinidad and Tobago. So I love your question, but I think that it's a great opportunity to broaden the spectrum.
Of course, yes, of course, because at the end of the day, I always say, the officers in the TTPS or any particular public institution come from Trinidad and Tobago. So we are also, they come from the culture. And if the culture is one that encourages that kind of behavior, unfortunately, you will see it surface in these particular places, and we have to weed it out. I think we have to be the change we want to see, and ultimately, doing the right thing is doing it when people are not looking. You know, just do the right thing. Officer Ali, as always, sincere thanks, man. Great to see you. It's been too long.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully we'll get a chance to touch base soon.
Thank you.
For sure. Again, another impactful Police and You every single Thursday right here on The Morning Brew. We take the pause and we come back with some housekeeping. I'm seeing your health tip and your weather before 7. See you soon.
At Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, we are committed to providing quality products for all major building projects. Let's build together with rebars and beams, BRC coils and mats, RHS and angles, roofing sheets and purlins, lumber, plywood and MDF. Bagwansing's, building homes, building communities, building TNT for over 60 years. Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, building value every day.
Diwali specials at Food Basket, Arima, Chaguanas, Champlain, and Gulfview. Nestle reconstituted 1 liter milk, 2 for $24.95. Nestle's green butterfly milk, 250 ml, 3 for $18.95. Good and natural cream of wheat, $14.95. Potatoes, 10 pounds for $20. Onions, 4 pounds for $9.95. Super Cow full cream milk powder, 800 gram, $37.95. Shub Diwali from Food Basket. 4 locations: Arima, Champlain, Chaguanas, and Gulfview.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
The detergent smells nice while washing, but when you use the new Downy Intense fabric softener, with its new multi-capsule fragrance, it releases an intense scent that lasts twice as long. With the new Downy Intense, you'll enjoy a rich and delightful fragrance that keeps you feeling fresh 24/7.
Tile Depot Diwali sale on now. Stunning floors at dazzling prices. 12 by 12, $750. 17 by 17, $975. 18 by 18, $995. 20 by 20, $15.95. And 22 by 22, only $20. Visit Tile Depot Limited today at Banyan Chase Village. Call 234-4402.
Feeling drained? Struggling to keep up? It's time to take control of your wellness. On this episode of Wellness Unlocked, we're diving into the key nutrients your body needs for all-day energy and balance. With 100% or more of your daily essential vitamins, plus added chromium to support healthy blood sugar, this is complete wellness in a single soft gel. Join us as we uncover how small changes can make a big impact on your health. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on CNC3 and take the first step toward better health.
Yo, Dominica, this is Vibes Cartel, and I'll be in Dominica for the 25th edition of the World Creole Music Festival. You better come see me, World Boss, October 24th to 26th. Everything fixed. Beer hits. XOXO, my love is very special. If you want it, come to Dominica. What is under my nose? Come on.
Welcome back. Let's get into our health tip for the day. Enjoy.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
Ever pondered how remarkably adaptable our brain is and how diverse circumstances can reconfigure its structure and function? This process is called neuroplasticity, a symbol of our brain's resilience and adaptability. Whether it's dealing with PTSD or partaking in calming meditation, our brain can transform its makeup. Neuroplasticity is key in showing our brain's remarkable versatility. Now let's delve into how these conditions alter the brain's landscape. Emotional trauma from post-traumatic stress disorder overactivates the amygdala, impacting the prefrontal cortex and the hippocampus, leading to emotional reactions and memory problems. Strokes disrupt brain blood flow, impacting speech and muscle control. Alcohol use disorder affects the hippocampus, creating memory issues. Alzheimer's disease interferes with neuron communication, causing memory loss. Migraines affect brain matter due to nerve sensitivity. Brain injuries from concussions cause lasting damage. Bipolar disorder arises from neurotransmitter imbalances, causing mood swings. Multiple sclerosis scars nerves due to immune system attacks. ADHD affects attention networks function. Despite these challenges, there's hope. Activities like meditation increase gray matter, reducing inflammation. Regular exercise improves blood flow and brain cell growth, enhancing cognition. Indeed, our brain is not a static entity, one constantly changing and adapting to different conditions. While some conditions are beyond our control, we can foster brain health. Mindfulness meditation, regular physical exercise, and dietary supplements can enhance cognitive functions. They improve focus, memory, and mental stamina, providing essential nutrients for your brain. Striking a balance is key. One should not overshadow the other. Your choices significantly impact your brain health. Every choice you make can contribute to a healthier brain.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
Where health is wealth. Let's head across to the World Weather Wrap. Jamark is up next. Jamark, good morning.
Good morning. In today's weather wrap, we head over to the United States, where you might expect to see a decoration like this on a miniature golf course, but not a full-sized one. This Cessna 525B ended up near the 17th hole of the Seneca Golf Course in Louisville, Kentucky on Tuesday morning. It happened after the plane overshot a runway while landing. The golf course is only a few hundred feet from Bowman Field Airport. Now, there were 2 pilots and 2 passengers on board, but luckily there were no injuries reported. Now, staying in Kentucky, multiple cities are dealing with the aftermath of Tuesday's record-setting rainfall. The video shows vehicles submerged in the community of Jefferson, which is about 15 miles away from Louisville. That city now has a new daily rainfall record that's about 3 times the old one. Frankfort and Lexington also have new records that surpass the previous numbers by more than an inch. Now let's head over to Mexico, where high waves hit their Pacific coast on Tuesday as Tropical Storm Priscilla passed off the coast of Jalisco, triggering flooding and damage along Puerto Vallarta's waterfront. Authorities activated an interagency emergency response to deal with the effects of the storm surge, elevated wave activity, and rising tides. Flooding was also reported in streets, businesses, hotels, and storm drains, with waves crashing against the seawalls and coastal fronts. Now let's head back home to take a look at today's forecast. We can expect partly cloudy conditions and breezy at times with isolated showers throughout the day. There is a medium chance of 1 or 2 thunderstorms over both islands. Conditions are expected to remain unstable overnight with the possibility of a few showers. Then those relatively moist conditions are expected to continue into tomorrow due to the indirect effects from Tropical Storm Jerry. Remember, we also have a hazardous seas alert coming into effect at 8:30 a.m. today for eastern coastlines due to swells being generated by Tropical Storm Jerry. That's all for today's weather wrap. Back to you.
Well, it's going to be a wet Thursday, so put yourself in gear. Thank you so much, John Mark. Let's get ready to take that pause and 7 a.m. news update, and we come back after 7 with the mental health matters. Yohan says up next. See you soon.
Southern Food Basket. Quality food to fill your basket. Get it all at Southern Food Basket. Fresh goods on every aisle with best prices. For the best market around. High quality meats pound for pound. Get the best for less. Start shopping. Go to Southern Food Basket. Shopping how you like it. Every aisle just wide and spacious. So spend less at Southern Food Basket. Good food at great prices for sure. Come get what you're looking for.
Would you recommend this product to younger people?
Age doesn't really matter. So I think if I was 17, 18 and I get introduced to these products, I would maybe be Superman. So
More Superman?
More Superman.
Absolutely outstanding.
Do you think all dishwashing soaps are the same? With some, they require more effort, and they don't wash as much. Try Dawn and discover its grease cleaning power. Dawn removes stuff grease easier and faster than others. Additionally, it foam lasts 50% more. With Dawn, you use less product to clean more dishes and save with every wash. Dawn, triple grease cleaning power.
Make sure you have yourself a great invest week by viewing The Boss Report every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. during CNC3's The Morning Brew. You'll get sound financial advice, whether you're a new or experienced investor, when you view The Boss Report. CNC3, covering your work.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Jesse Ramde with headline news here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. Housing Minister David Lee was granted $1 million bail as the state prepares to lay an indictment against him and businessman Hugh Leong Poi. The two, who did not appear virtually before Master Lisa Singh Philip after falling ill on Tuesday and remaining hospitalized yesterday, are charged with conspiring to defraud the state over the importation of a $2 million Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG. The state alleges that Lee falsely claimed ownership to benefit from parliamentary tax exemptions. On April 7th, Acting Chief Magistrate Christine Charles dismissed all charges, ruling that prosecutors had presented insufficient evidence after Lee's attorney successfully made a no-case submission. Leong Poi was granted $600,000 bail. The men will be informed of their next court date after the state files its case. They were rearrested on a bench warrant, which means the matter will not restart but will be called before a High Court judge for trial. In other news, Opposition Chief Whip Marvin Gonzalez is warning that the government's alleged campaign to remove executive professionals across key state entities, including the decision to send the Chief of Defense Staff, Air Vice Marshal Darrell Daniel, on leave, could have far-reaching consequences for the country's stability and security. Captain Don Polo has since assumed command of the Defense Force. At a media conference yesterday, Gonzalez said, while it is customary for a new administration to appoint its own state board members, the continued dismissal of executives and technical experts represents a direct attack on the country's institutional strength.
David Lee serves at the pleasure of the Prime Minister, and therefore it falls upon the Prime Minister to do the right and honorable thing in the public's interest to remove David Lee from the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago until such time he ventilates his matter before a court.
And less than 24 hours after tornado-like winds tore through sections of West Moorings, north and surrounding areas, the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government has confirmed that cleanup and restoration works have been completed and power has been restored to nearly all affected households. Minister of Rural Development and Local Government Khadija Amin said assessments conducted by the Diego Martin Borough Corporation's Disaster Management Unit found that 16 homes were affected by the unusual weather event, which caused complete roof loss in some cases and partial structural damage in others. However, boots were still on the ground, led by the Diego Martin Mayor, Akila Glasgow, and was still conducting assessment and rendering assistance to the affected persons. She said her team was on the ground without the media and fanfare. Well, those were 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. on the TBC Radio Network.
Science calls it AMPK, your body's built-in system for burning fat, balancing blood sugar, and fueling energy. Berberine Plus naturally supports AMPK, helping you feel better, live better, be better. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus, powerful results naturally.
Another Mental Health Matters Thursday, and Johanse IODK, Behavioral Change Consultant, joins me on the Zoom line this morning. Johanse, great to see you. Welcome as always.
Morning, Jason. Morning to everybody viewing.
Well, we're going to deal and treat with a word that I've seen so many times. It's always a mainstay in music, especially reggae music. We're talking about the schism. Well, I actually hear them talk about the schism. That's probably a whole different conversation. But schism, let's expand on it. Well, it sounds, to me, when I hear schism, it sounds shady. It sounds shaky. It sounds like a scheme. The schism.
All right.
That's been my connotation, honestly, over the years. What's your interpretation?
Well, let me use your interpretation, your connotation there with the literal meaning of it, right? The literal meaning of a schism is a split, right? A split with something. And if we use in terms of mental, it's a mental split. Now with a scheme is where you're showing something that's not really real, right? You're tricking somebody. Right? And in the same way, a schism could be a trick of the mind. And that's where I want to go with it today, because schism is also, schizophrenia is also a derivative of it. And schizophrenia is when you have delusions, you're seeing things. And most times when you look at somebody and they're seeing things and they're hearing voices, people will say they're mad or they're crazy. But imagine we know something wrong for us and we pretending that it's right. We know something, this food not good for us, but we still eating it. We know this habit not good for us, but we still doing it. That's the same kind of delusion that we would call somebody who hearing voices and seeing voices as mad or crazy.
Oh, so that's the real interpretation of schism. Because, I mean, I guess listening to reggae music over the years, you hear about the schism, and schisms, and that sounds like something that was kind of like, it does seem like something that's positive then. But you're saying basically, it's almost like we lying to ourselves, basically. We're tricking ourselves.
We tricking ourselves, and it becomes a schism, because after a while, if you keep doing it, just like the human brain, once you get accustomed to doing something, it becomes a habit. So what happens is you start to do it even reflexively. So you start to lose touch with reality if you keep doing it. So it's like somebody who, like we say, when they're dealing with something harsh, most times they just kind of ignore it. After a while, when anything happens, you just start to ignore it. If you know something wrong and you continue pretending that it's right, or you're pretending that it don't exist, which again is a schism, you will start to do that reflexively, and after a while, you wouldn't even know yourself. You wouldn't even know exactly what is real from not real.
Wow. So how does one even start the process of coming out of that particular space? Because I know, yes, there are some people who might surrender to a vice or surrender to a particular feeling, and as you rightfully said, they don't even know where you are again, where you are really in life sometimes. But how do we even start the process of coming out of that hole almost?
Well, let's start with awareness, because the answer to this question is easier said than done, because for all of us, and myself included, it's difficult sometimes when you're in a position, whether it is a personal habit you want to break in a situation, a relationship, whether it is romantic or not, to just say, well, you know what, I know what's best for me, and I just going and do differently. One is awareness. At least know first what you want from a situation. So it could be a job situation, it could be a financial situation. Firstly, know exactly what you want from it. Then ask yourself, am I getting what I want from it? And if the answer is no, then you ask yourself, what's the steps? Now, the steps don't have to be perfect, because you can start to troubleshoot. You might make a little mistakes along the line, but at least start moving in the direction that you really want to go. Instead of saying, well, time will tell, and say, well, if I just wait, things will improve. If I just, I hope, well, by the next government, things will change. Or, he or she will realize what they're doing in the next few months, and just wait there instead of doing something proactively towards your goals.
So awareness is the first particular step. Do you need a supporting team? Is it important to share sometimes these I guess, these moments with probably people that you love to help you on your journey out of the schism?
Depending on this situation, I wouldn't say need. I would say it may greatly help, because some things you may have to do on your own. Some things, when you do it on your own, you actually build that competency, that self-efficacy to understand, yes, I did it, and that's important. Other things, you may need some assistance. And assistance could be family members, friends, sometimes even medication, professional help. That may be the boost. Now, I'm saying it's a boost because you can look at it like training wheels, right? I don't have the tools right now or the skill right now to reach where I want to reach, but I have these training wheels. Now, training wheels need to be taken off, because sometimes when we get this help, sometimes we become dependent on the help. So it's important to understand that this help is something temporary and just to give you that boost.
For those, let's say, well, again, we're dealing with the schism this morning, but for those who say, okay, this is who I am, accept me as I am, I've surrendered to everything. That kind of person could still come back to people who are really, people who actually defend the schism, who embrace it, even if that's a thing?
No, I have a thin line between this now, because, you see, let me give an example. If I am somebody who like to shout, I just talk loud, and I say, this is who I am and I'm not changing, it have a certain degree of acceptance and power in that. Because at least you're not in a delusion. You're saying exactly who you are. Now, being somebody who maybe, as I given the example, they shout and talk a lot all the time, I may not have success in every situation. And then I have to acknowledge that, because as some people, it may come across as abrasive. So now I can't be vexed at somebody who don't like it. But if I accept this is who I am and this is who I want to be, it have a certain power in that. But then I can't expect everyone to accept it.
Because, I guess it brings to question environmental factors, and also adjusting to time, time and place. Because even that person who say they're a bit loud, they're a bit aggressive, I would imagine if they're in a banquet, yes, there have been people who went to banquet in the fancy suit with a tie and still conducting themselves the way they'll conduct themselves if they buy a hawk and spit. But at the same time, do we have that ability? I think most of us have the ability to self-regulate, don't we?
Well, most of us, to a point, have the ability to self-regulate, and self-regulation, the skill of self-regulation, increases the more that you tell the truth to yourself about the situation. So if you know that you don't like something, so let's just say, I hate this job, right? But I know the money I'm making for the next year or two will put me in a position to do X, Y, Z. Okay, I'm living in reality, even though the reality is not quite what I want. But if you pretend and say, well, nah, but this is the best job I could get to know, or nah, nothing wrong with this job, but it really causing the distress, or this relation is my family, even though they don't treat me good as my family, I still take it. If you're trying to use the schism, which is the split from reality, instead of admitting what it is, that's where the difficulty comes, and that's where self-regulation becomes difficult, because after a while, pretending, after a while, he is bursting, he just want to be in the reality of things.
Is it important for us to have some outlet for a release, whether it be, people who play mass, that's their release. Somebody might go skydiving, somebody might be into fet match, cricket, wherever, all fours. I think at some point we do need an escape, right, from reality. Could we do this schism in a positive way? Could we find an escape from this said reality to just do something out of the box to just give us a kind of balance?
Listen, that's a real good question, Maybe a few months ago, if you asked me that, I'd say yes immediately. But now these days I've been questioning. You see, when you say escape means that I no longer want to be in the reality that I want to be in anymore, which itself could be a schism. But there's a difference still between rest. You could take a rest. You could have relaxation. You could go on a vacation. You could do things that entertain yourself. But if the goal is to escape, then that could be borderline unhealthy versus, and now I'm going to say something that it may be the perfect world, and we're not in the perfect world yet. But if we do things that actually we want to do in alignment with who we are and what we want to do, we wouldn't need an escape route. Because you do anything you want to do, there's no need to escape, quote unquote, from it, because it will bring you joy, it will bring you fulfillment. Now again, I know everyone not in that situation. I myself not in that exact situation. But the reason why we need the escape is because we've been doing things or doing something for a long period of time that we don't want to be doing. So our mind splits. So now we have to go back to find ourselves and give ourselves back that grounding of who we are.
Well said, Johan Say. Well, I'll give you the final say as we pull the curtains down on this interesting one of schism. I'm glad I'm actually able to understand it now, because I saw it through the lens of reggae music. Capleton and Luciano and these fellas, I didn't even realize it was a mental situation. I just thought schism was schism, dealing with the system now in Babylon now. But it's a whole different connotation when you look at it through the mental wellness lens. So, final say.
Nation, don't fool yourself, because the reality will always come back to hit you. Don't make life complicated, because even though life is not easy, it's really not that hard. Thank you for listening.
Well said, Johan Say, as always. Have a great one. God spare we touch base again next week. That's your mental health matters. Of course, we transition now to the break, and we come back and get you ready for Queen's Hall this weekend. Oh yes, the Aces Dance Company is going to take you behind the smile. Full details after the break.
Folks, take a look at all these medical conditions. What does it have in common? This, ITIS. But what does ITIS really mean?
The suffix itis denotes inflammation of a specified organ or tissue.
ITIS really means inflammation. How do we combat chronic inflammation? Through lifestyle changes. Then, and only then, make sure you're getting enough omega-3 fatty acids.
Always consult a qualified medical professional before starting any supplements.
Dominica, this is the Burning Flame straight out of Antigua, and we're coming to blaze up the stage for the 25th edition of the World Creole Music Festival. October 24 to 26. You ready for the real fire? The real jam and the real party? You can't miss this one. See you in Dominica, the nature island of the Caribbean. Blow, 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 blow.
Other people can't get enough of the #1 comedy of 2025. You don't need fun to watch Corn. It's now at Cipriani College on Saturday the 11th of October at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 12th at 6:30 p.m.
Dan show is real bacchanal.
Tickets available now at the usual outlets and at the Cipriani College box office from Wednesday 8th of October, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily.
Don't play mad and miss this show, you know.
I see that show 3 times. Jenna is the best.
You don't need fun to watch Corn. The bacchanal continues.
To watch Corn.
Parts World offers appliances of any kind for your home or business. For over 40 years, we have been selling, installing, and repairing appliances that fit your world. An authorized dealer for Whirlpool, KitchenAid, Electrolux, Frigidaire, True Residential, GE, Sub-Zero, and Wolf. Quality appliances from top brands backed by a certified warranty, qualified technicians, and a fully stocked parts department. Free delivery to most locations in Trinidad. Visit one of our 6 retail locations across Trinidad or check us out online. Parts World, where our appliances fit your world. Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Let the divine lights of the Dias bring victory over darkness into your life. Happy Diwali to all. A message from Kaleidoscope Paints Limited.
Ho, 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 ho. Start the season sweet with Jimmy Abood's annual Christmas and October sale. Get up to 60% off on curtains, sheet sets, floor mats, upholstery fabric, and more. Shop now at the last big sale of the year.
Join Pastor Gino Jennings for our second Trinidad and Tobago Holy Convocation at the Centerpoint Mall, Centrum Auditorium, 325 Ramsaran Street, Chaguanas, Trinidad. Services are Saturday, October 11th at 6 p.m. and Sunday, October 12th at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Again, Centerpoint Mall, 325 Ramsaran Street, Chaguanas, Trinidad. Saturday, October 11th at 6 p.m. and Sunday, October 12th at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. For information, call 267-989-9189.
Millions of people are attacked by harmful mouth bacteria. The root cause of bad breath, gum problems, cavities, plaque, and tartar. That's why Colgate combined the best science and technology in Colgate Total. Unlike others, its superior formula fights bacteria and creates a powerful protective barrier for up to 24 hours to prevent them from coming back. Take control of your oral health with Colgate Total.
Need to upgrade to a better phone system? Contact the experts at Voice Outsourcing. In office or remote, our phone system allows you to take every call. Grow your bottom line by offering excellent customer service. Call 217-1895 or 628-8182 or email today.
Well, World Mental Health Day is tomorrow, and on the heels of the World Mental Health Day, this production that will be truly tremendous is happening at Queen's Hall this weekend. It's definitely keeping the theme and that ethos alive of obviously mental health, understanding the different dynamics in that regard, and it's entitled Behind the Smile. And I must say to the Aces Dance Company, Dance Academy, kudos. They sent me my tickets. I got it bright and early last week, so this is a must for me this weekend. I want to welcome the co-founder and artistic director, Akeisha Bing Danzel. She's here with me on set. And co-founder of Aces Dance Academy, Christopher Bing. Welcome, guys. Great to have you on the show.
Nice to be here. Nice, really good to be here.
Definitely. I mean, the theme itself, walk me through the theme behind the smile. I guess it's all aligned to World Mental Health Day. That is actually tomorrow.
Yes.
And this is, I mean, clearly a smooth transition into the weekend to bring this message alive via dance.
Yes, exactly. And funnily enough, you know, it was not lined up like that. My husband and I were talking about how things just fall into place with God at the helm of it. And we got the show dates at this time, well, these dates from Queen's Hall, and within it, I knew I wanted to do a storyline. I didn't know what the storyline is. I knew I did not want it to be like a love story. I mean, we always see that kind of Romeo and Juliet theme, right? So I wanted to have something with substance, or even more substance than naturally with the common stories. And I came across a video on social media that addressed men's mental health, and the video showed both two grown best friends, one grumpy and the other one is smiley, and they would go to all these football games, you know, together. And over a period of time, you know, you're so drawn into the one who has no expression, or he seems like his mind is filled with stuff and he grumpy looking, and the other one is smiling and, you know, cheering on and kind of nudging him on. And then at the end of the video, he's the one who was suffering with the mental health.
Serious.
And that is exactly what took place.
As a twister, a real twister.
So I liked it, and I liked it even more so because it addressed not just mental health, but men's mental health, because it's such a taboo subject where addressing mental health and emotion with our men and our boys goes. And I thought, I want to do a story that is focused on things that we go through every day. And and we're always smiling.
Yeah.
Let
me bring Christopher in to get some more details as to how this will be expressed via dance, and also how big is the cast? Walk me through, at least without giving away the entire show, the experience, the takeaway for the patrons this weekend at Queen's Hall.
Our cast is about 60 to 70. So about 60 to 70
massive
dancers,
cast.
Yeah. Ranging from the age of 4 all the way to
adult.
Yeah. And we really hope that as individuals come to the show, that they don't just come and, okay, we see a nice show and we leave. But, I'm grateful. I'm not a dancer. I'm just the behind the scenes kind of guy. And it's good for me from the outside looking in when I come into the studio and I see the rehearsals and what they're doing. I remember there was this one time I came in and there was one of the performances happening and I'm looking off to the wall and the other girls who are just sitting there watching the performance and tears. And I myself got emotional. And I know that all of us who played a part in putting the theme and the show together, we would have drawn from our own experiences. So the hope is that as patrons come to the show, they can relate to what's happening. And hopefully at the end, they can then leave with a sense of, connection and hope.
Akeisha, I want you to tell me a little bit more about the Dance Academy, because I'm looking at some pictures. Let's put it up on screen. People fail to realize that beyond the practice, the countless hours of perfecting the dance and the choreography, there is costuming.
Yes, there is.
There is makeup. It's a whole ecosystem that happens backstage.
Yes.
Walk me through all those unsung heroes, those people that are pulling their weight to make this weekend happen, and more so, how can someone join the Academy?
So firstly, I want to say a huge thank you to my parents. I agree, it takes many hands to make the work light. And my parents know me so well. They know that I can't get in a space of anxiety, and when it is, because I like to say I'm a slight OCD, it's not that much,
Well, watching your husband smiling, and he's just like,
where things have to run a certain way, and with them being with me and recognizing, they jump in. They jump in 100%, and they support, and they come and they ask, and they are aware, and they take action. And without them, I feel like I would still be getting panic attacks from a long time. So they definitely, all hands are on deck. And you can join the school. We have an online sign up on our Instagram, I believe. And our school is available to people who want to dance from the age of 6. I'm sorry, not 6, 4. And all the way up. And our dancers, well, it depends on the age of the child, which day they would fall into and which class they would choose to
Fantastic. Before we pull the curtains down, I must get information in terms of start time. I know, well, obviously Queen's office, box office for sure.
Yes.
But where else could we get tickets? And give me the start time for the 10th and the 11th.
So Aces Dance Academy, you can also receive your tickets. We are number 3 Longden Street, Port of Spain, right after Sacred Heart Girls. Tickets are $250, and our Friday show begins at 7, and our Saturday show begins at 6:30. But we want even more so to engage, or we don't just want our audience to sit and look at what's happening. We want them to be a part of it. So what we're asking is, if anyone would like to be a part of our show, they can send a picture in of someone who they love, who has been a sense of hope and light in their lives, to acesdanceacademy@gmail.com. Make sure it's a landscape image, and that is going to be previewed in our show as well.
Fantastic.
To have them a part of it. We also want to quickly thank our sponsors. We want to thank Serenitas Mental Health. We want to thank Solane Service Limited, Estuary PR, Port Authority, Trinidad and Tobago, and Guardian Group. All of them has been on board with us and supporting us with this cause. And also, for those who are coming, take advantage of our free screening. We're going to have free mental health screening on that day, before and during the intermission. And we also have vouchers that allows them to have 3 free therapy sessions. So we really want them to get into it and make mental health a real thing.
Well said, indeed. It's going to be a fantastic production. And I want to say, of course, kudos to one of the performers, Imani, who will be definitely, gracing the stage.
Yes, she
as
will
they say.
be.
Yes, and along with your massive cast. So congrats, it's going to be a success. Tremendous production. Thanks so much for the tickets, guys. Well, I mean, after show affairs.
Yes.
After show affairs, yes, of course. It's on this weekend at Queen's Hall. Let's put it up again. It is Behind the Smile, tomorrow the 10th and the 11th, in commemoration of World Mental Health Day. That's actually tomorrow. Up next, we make room for Ian Wason. That in-depth look at sport, the morning shot, up next.
Tamale specials at Food Basket, Arima, Chaguanas, Champlain, and Gulfview. Cook's brand pure vegetable ghee, 1 pound, $24.95. 2 kilogram, $99. Pure coconut oil, 700 ml, $17.95. Jolly Foods granulated sugar, 1800 gram, $19.95. Chana, 5 pound, $20, save $9.95. Cocoa, 2 liter, assorted, 3 for $20. Wax Deers, case $1.99. Shub Diwali from Food Basket. 4 locations, Arima, Champlain, Chaguanas, and Gulfview.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Brand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve. Big goals, small ones too. Brand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should. With Brand Credit Union, yes you could. Make someday today.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union. This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT. This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too. This is the mix. This is the life. Lock on or log on now. Sangeet 106.1 FM. This is authentic East Indian radio. This is us.
Ask the Doctor's new season is here as Dr. Joel Tilak Singh covers a range of topics and, most importantly, answers all your medical questions.
Join us on Ask the Doctor live on CNC3 on Thursdays at a new time of 8:30 p.m. with a rerun on Fridays at 11 a.m.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning Shot, where we talk sport up to the hour of 8 o'clock. This morning we talk cricket, of course, and football also, of course, as the West Indies get ready to play India in the second test. Remember, they trailed the series 1-0. And of course, the Soca Warriors, two crucial World Cup qualifiers,